The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all for another incredible day out here. And for some reason, I can't get my camera working. Don't know why not. And we'll continue to try to work that out. In the meantime, I guess you just get to look at me. But I keep clicking on this little camera icon and clicking on the background and nothing. So who knows? It's uploading some kind of picture here. Application still window. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I need out here. Does that work, Mr. Engineer? Hopefully he can tell me that that is doing what he needs. But he's such a slow typist that you all wait. Nothing yet. Okay, well, I don't know what's wrong. Anyway, we've got a wonderful day here. Of course, another wonderful day at TFNN and another wonderful hour with me, your lovable, squeezably soft host. One more day into the breach, dear friends. And we are going to have a wonderful day. Of course, the markets are moving already without us. And, well, we'll see. Try to figure out why I'm having technical difficulties last couple of days. Still window, still application. Timed application, timed window. I think we want a timed window. So maybe that's it. Maybe that will get everybody going on. I don't know why. I've been having trouble. I had problems yesterday also. And it seems to be some security upgrades in the internet browsers out here that are changing things. So we'll have to see how that works out. Well, I'm told that we are online today. So you'll see my little Easter egg out here, which is he who smiles in a crisis has found someone else to blame. Anyway, we are out here pretty close to the lows of the day. Very interesting to see the action we have out here, which is they keep on trying to push the market up. We had, at least the Dow, we were down, 100 points or 110 points. And I remember the super perky blonde on CNBC saying, well, we've already come back to break even. So just how much farther are we going up here today? And, of course, no real discussions of why we are down yet 100 points yet again after she was so perky and upbeat earlier today. But I have the answer, so we'll talk about those a little bit more succinctly. But we will everybody likes perky girls, except when they cost you money. And unfortunately, cheerleading probably doesn't have a lot of room in the stock market. Anyway, we're at 2094. We're off 20 points on the S&P cash. Probably the most important thing is a volume out here. We've been coming into this hour, start of this hour, with about 1.8 billion shares since the long weekend. That we have 2 billion shares says that the volume is picking up a little bit. I don't suspect to see any kind of real huge selling until the jobs numbers tomorrow. And then if they don't work out as well as people think, then we're probably looking at maybe a little bit of action tomorrow. My thoughts are that this market is going to be a long, slow, protracted retreat, and they're going to do everything that they can. We've had the IMF meddling in the markets today and others, but I think today is one of the first days that we see the market starting to understand, or at least come to grips, that maybe they've cried wolf just one too many times. But I do digress. We'll get into history as always.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
In 1987, the first domino falls in Wall Street's insider trading scandal as Kidder, Peabody and Company pays a $25 million fine. That seems like quaint today compared to those these $3 billion fines, right? To settle federal charges of security fraud. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission claims that Kidder Peabody illegally parked stock for Ivan Boesky, taking shares of Unical off his hands temporarily to conceal his ownership and protect him from loss, and that Kidder takeover maven Martin Siegel had traded on insider information on at least 6 stocks. And this would probably be a footnote and forgotten a little bit more. But, of course, late in that same year, a movie came out called Wall Street. And probably what was most interesting is that early 1986, I think it was January of 86, I'd gone out and seen a brand new film called, what was that movie called? Not Full Metal Jacket. Anyway, it was a Vietnam War film. I'll think about it. Someone will probably pipe up in the den with a very young Charlie Sheen at the time. And, of course, it was a wild success, and they asked him to say, you want to go make a movie. And, of course, another movie. And I think this is the guy that made all the conspiracy movies. I'm trying to remember his name, too. But what we do know is that this was loosely based on a great deal of different people out here. Dennis Levine, Ivan Boesky, he was a corporate raider, along with Carl Icahn. They were all kind of mashed up in this insider trading. Michael Ovitz, Stone himself, and, of course, just a lot of different people that were basically a compendium that made the Gordon Gekko personality in the movie. But it was, Oliver Stone, that's who it was that made the movie. But kind of interesting that a lot of this was hitting the fan probably late when he was writing the script, and made it in early, I think it pretty much was over by 87. It came out in the summer. But very interesting. But Ivan Boesky is the guy that basically stood in front of the people and said, greed is right. Didn't say greed is good. They changed it just a little bit so they wouldn't get sued. Ivan Boesky spent 2 years in Lompoc in California. I think it's right next to an Air Force base. And pretty much disappeared. He still had a lot of cash left over. He went into kind of hiding, lived out on a ranch. I think he may still be alive. I haven't heard that he passed away. But other people, a little less scathed than Carl Icahn. But Carl Icahn got awful close to the flame back in those days. And now no one ever really brings it up on CNBC. I wonder why that is. Now, all is forgiven. You make enough money, all is forgiven. Or if you can dance, then you can beat your girlfriend and then go out and sing and dance. But I do digress. Other things going on in the market today, of course, it's all not about Greece anymore. It's actually all about bond rates, and we'll get into that also today. The Greek authorities have informed the fund today, the IMF that is, that they plan to bundle the country's 4 June payments into one, which is now due on June 30th. I was going to pay you on Wednesday. Well, we owe you 4 payments this month, but you know what? We ain't going to do it. We'll bundle them all in June. And everybody knew already what that means, which is that they're going to renege at the end of this month, and no reason to throw any money toward the IMF if they're going down in flames anyway. At least I suspect that's what everybody's thinking. The whole idea of extend and pretend is getting awful old, and my guess is that we're going to finally find out probably over the 4th of July weekend, although it's going to be drip, drip, drip until then, that Greece is leaving the IMF. There's no way politically that the head of Greece can do it. And pretty much the idea of Germans working very hard and probably paying about 80% of the bill for Greece for them to have a 30-hour work week. I think the Germans would rather rearm and go invade them than give them any more money. But that's just, you get one story at the level of Parliament and the Prime Minister. you get another level and another story when you go to the people, and they're not a bunch of slackers, and they're not willing to give their cash to a bunch of slackers. At least that's what they think they are. What else can you say? My guess is, like I said, we're probably going to get the official word somewhere why everybody's out for the long weekend, that all the deals that they thought that they made, that they said that they were going to make, that were imminent, that were going to come out, are all but gone. 2096 on the S&P cash, 2.02 billion shares. So volume has not picked up again. Baidu, kind of interesting, although probably not going to really change the landscape of Baidu stock. I thought it was very interesting. Baidu's been getting into some challenges, programming challenges, and a lot of these have to do with visual recognition, recognizing faces, that kind of stuff. Well, they've been in it against Google and Microsoft, and they've been winning hands down. And everybody thought there was something a little bit funny about it. Well, Baidu had gamed the system where you were only able to try it twice a week, 2 tests per week. They created 30 accounts and were testing it, of course, 60 times per week. After being caught cheating, Baidu has been banned from a year from the challenge. And if anybody thinks that you're going to get a fair shake from the Chinese, it is just not in their DNA. Your money is their money. Anything that you put in front of them is an obstacle. I kind of admire them in that vein, but at the same time, you shouldn't be stupid enough to think that you're going to get a fair shake from them, whether it's in their stock market or dealing with them and them not trying to take your business away from you. You are truly swimming with the sharks. For communists, they are some of the best capitalists that money can buy. But just interesting none the same. Anyway, we were talking about the IMF that cried wolf. I think it was cried. I should probably change that. Mrs. Lagarde came out in an earlier speech today, and the market really started to head south when she said, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't raise your interest rates this year because things sucketh thusly. And Mr. Pro had to weigh in on that.
There will be a giant sucking sound.
And that was what we got, a giant sucking sound lower in the markets. But I suspect that the markets finally reached the point where they don't believe all the jawboning anymore. They certainly, when this market was starting to get weak, saw her come out. And it just looks like a lot of people jawboning the market. Not a lot of people actually believing a lot of that. Interestingly enough, we continue to see weakness in the commodities, which seems to be confirming a lack of demand. Gold's off almost $10, 11.7570. Got silver off 35 cents. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crisp crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
It's hard to believe that it's been almost 2 years since Andy Hecht started his newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report. In that time, he's delivered many winning trades for his subscribers. To commemorate Andy's 100th weekly issue of his newsletter, we're rolling back the monthly price to the introductory rate of only $59. This is a one-of-a-kind special that is only around until Thursday of this week, which is the day of his 100th issue. By taking advantage of this 100th issue special, you can lock in Andy's original introductory rate for as long as you remain a subscriber. That's an incredible 25% savings every month off the retail price. Andy delivers in-depth analysis of the commodity market every Thursday in each issue of the Technomental Commodity Report, while providing specific trading recommendations on ETFs and option positions within the commodity market. Don't miss out on this special, as there are only hours remaining. Sign up for the Technomental Commodity Report right now at the front page of TFNN.com. You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
We're at 2098 on the S&P cash, off 16 points. Volume kind of quiet out here right now, and it seems to go very quiet about this time every day now. Of course, the volume comes in late in the day. As you've heard Tom O'Brien say, there's been a big seller late in the day in the S&P futures, and maybe they know something we don't, but pretty big hand out there, along with some people already starting to back out of some of the bigger stocks like Apple. Apple off 74 cents today, which is no big deal out here, but you know, if there is a stock that they'll be pushing up, it's normally Apple. And of course, we're going to be going into their big developer conference next week. Kind of interesting to see that they doesn't look like they've got a lot to talk about next week, and that may be an impotence for them to pull back a little bit more if they don't have more to crow about. They may bring up some things, who knows. They've been pretty good about keeping some things secrets, but at least we've had some inklings of it. I haven't heard a peep about anything really big or interesting next week, other than the fact that they will not be showing their Apple TV. It won't be selling anything else. But what else can you say about that? It is a mad, mad, mad market. We're going to try to get to as many things as we can right away. And let's see what we have out here. Wanted to get to my stuff, and then we'll get to stocks that were moving. Was it Win, W-I-N-N, or is it Windum? Yeah, it was Wynn Resorts out here. Noticed it had popped earlier, and this thing has basically made what, 1, 2, 3, 4 ABCs on the way down. Kind of interesting to see this thing actually had popped today out here. Didn't catch the news on it. Stock up when surges into rebound territory. Analyst comments. Okay. Well, it basically means that someone's running a little short squeeze out here into this. But boy, this thing blew down with heavy volume. And it's back into that candle today on the 29th of, what's that, 29th of April. This came down on 15.7 million shares. We're coming back into that candle today with 4.2 million shares. Well, can it get back up to 120 bucks? I think it can. But more than likely, when these stocks, or when you see a stock that does this many ABC downs, it's hard to know exactly when it's going to quit. I take it it's worth something. I don't know what it's taken for. One of the things that would make me think that at least you get one more retest of the $97.89 low of June 1st out here is this high volume low that's untested. But just a huge volume down out here, suspect that you get that. And, let me see what a retracement would be on this thing. 122 gets you to 618 and back into that gap. So could you get back in there on nothing more than short covering and have one more ABC to the downside? I think the answer is yes out here. Let's see if we've got to 136, 108. Okay. So you've got kind of a smaller ABC that would set up for $90. And you also have, what else out here? The larger ABC. That isn't it. 118, is that right? No, 136. 136, 197 there. The larger ABC right now, we've only done a 30% retracement. That's why I'm thinking you'd get a little bit more. But a 1-to-1 on that last big ABC down out here would take you to $70.38. Let's go back and take a long look at Wyndham's. How far back do we got to go to get back into the $70 price point? There's not even something back there. 90 bucks looks pretty good. My word. Yeah, at least long term, there isn't a whole lot at the $70 level. This thing was on March 6, 2009, $14.15. Not a bad move out here. If you bought it at $14.50 and haven't sold yet, I'm going to say you're rather piggy. And we'll look at some other stocks here. We've got, I think, enough time to get at least started with some other ones. Kind of interesting today in Bank of America. It was trying to go over some previous highs on very light volume. It looked like it came back in. I was wondering whether or not they were going to get any juice on this thing because it actually had a Gartley pattern out here in a longer time frame. And that said that this would get maybe to a high of $17.52 before it broke and the XLF came with it. But, you were going up against 160 million shares, got, 89 million. Yeah. So pretty light. Anyway, keep an eye on that. Maybe it gets up there a little higher, but I don't think so. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that Everbank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they've just released the second running of their 5-year Market Safe Futures Economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until June 11th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all of the upside at maturity. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you get back 100% of your deposited principal. Don't miss out. The June 11th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we get going out here, I'm showing a chart out here of the daily. Should be the daily. It's not today. Let's go to the daily of the 10-year Treasury. And if you're trading, I think probably ought to have one of these up fairly close. And as long as this thing stays about 230 or more on the yield, it's hard for me to see the market trying, maybe there'll be a few stocks, but hard for me to see any of the indexes at all see any higher prices. If you don't know where to find this, you can always email me at path@tfnn.com and link to me. And, of course, you can call me at 877-927-6648, or you can post a message in the den. Anyway, we were looking at some other ones. We were looking at Bank of America. Some other stocks I wanted to see how they were doing out here. Baxter International, not a bad-looking chart out here. It is testing its previous low. That is the February 20th low at $65.94. 10 million shares. We're into it with a little less than 3 million as we speak, and a nice little doji out here. So this is probably either the halfway move down or a fairly decent bottom. If you look at the doji, the volume would say that it was a bottom. So some of these stocks may be getting ready to bottom, but my guess is that we'll know a lot more tomorrow after we trade into the weekend. Boyd Gaming, another one of these gaming stocks out here. It had come out and tested its previous high yesterday, 3.7 million shares from the March 9th high. $15.07 was the high. You went above it, $15.15. You went and closed below it. That proves the point. You're lower out here today on a little lighter volume. Doesn't mean the wheels are going to fall off this thing, but you do have, if you are swing trading, a valid sell signal in it. Other stocks that were very interesting, CommScope made a huge run starting back with a sign of strength on the 27th of January that went up to 32 bucks on March 3rd with 4.2 million shares. The last couple of days, we've been above that high, 1.3 million shares yesterday, basically 500,000 shares today so far. So some of these other stocks look like certainly you're getting some sell signals in some of these. Horizon Pharma PLC, some of these biotechs and pharma stocks starting to at least show some weakness. Overall, of course, everybody's still hot and heavy for the biotechs, but at least we are seeing some of these have some chinks in the armor. April 21st, $32.15, 10 million shares, went up to it. It's gone sideways for several days. The most you could get out of it was 2.9 million shares. It did go above it. It's closed below it. The volume is not really increasing, but I think a lot of these stocks that took off fairly well and had signs of strength are probably going to go back to those gaps where those signs of strength started. In this case, it'd be about 23.20 probably on Horizon. So if you are thinking you missed the wagon on biotechs, a lot of these have some fairly decent gaps where you're going to find these things coming back to. Same thing with Infineon Corporation, INFN. This one had a nice high at $20.93 on April 22nd. And 5 million shares. INFN is the symbol if you're just listening. As we get to the high on June 1st, came in with less than half the volume, 5 million shares to 1.8 million shares. Gone kind of sideways out here. Light volume today of 1 million shares. You've got this big gap and sign of strength back to the 23rd. And if you could get this thing back at 1550, 1570, you'd probably want to start putting alarms on some of these out here. If that's where you want to cover your shorts and maybe give you a good indication where the market's going to bottom when some of these stocks have come back to these rather big gaps. Other stocks that look interesting, Lululemon had its second big gap up, and it's come back and test that gap. That gap happened on the 12th of January. We're finally back into it. Tested it on fairly decently light volume, 10.3 million shares on the original gap, 3.8 million shares just 2 days ago. It went through it. It closed back above it. Probably some fairly decent support out here. I'm not bullish in the market, but you do have two things. A higher volume high at 70 bucks that has been untested, and this would make it a not category for shorting at here. MA Tech Solutions, MTSI, talk about light volume hanging at these highs. March 25th, this thing had 1 million shares at $39.52. We got to $40.95 today with 360,000 shares, although it's still above that. Any close below $39.52 would be a sell signal if you're long, and I don't know if I would short it, but certainly looks like some of these are topping out. Tankers, kind of hard to see how we have things like crude is what? Let me find it here. Crude, where are we at here? Crude's off $1.64 at 58 bucks on the N5 contract. And I don't know what else you can say about other than that it looks like it's in a broader trading range. I figure back down to about 53 or 54. And, we got our first tick out here today. I suspect that we had a lot of people on the wrong side of this, so probably a little bit of short squeeze, actually long squeeze, probably a long squeeze on the opposite side of this. But I don't see a lot happening out here after we got the numbers over the last 2 days. Not a lot of mystery in these. Is this all you have to say about that? I'm going to have to get that quote now. I'm going to have to get it and play it for everybody. The other one I found today, which I kind of like, but did not play out here. Where's it at? I thought I had it out here. No? Maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, money. Money is cool.
Yeah, money is cool. I'll get that one. That's all I have to say about that. Forrest Gump. Anyway, North American tankers, $13. It's gone above it. It had a doji yesterday. I think that was yet another good signal that we were probably making at least a medium-term high in this market. But we'll have to see how the next few days goes. But we've had a lot of times where they've kind of been loosey, pulling the ball away from us every time we've gotten close. I don't know how the Fed actually raises rates, and Fed rates are still saying 95% chance that they raise rates in September. We're basically 3 months away from that. It's going to take a while to distribute a lot of stock. And, of course, they're going to have to make all kinds of new lies up about how the market's going to go higher to get people to buy stock as it goes down. And, of course, everybody will think it's a great deal. The question I have is are all or any of these people that have been so Pavlov dog conditioned to buy every dip down, are they going to wait, or are they just going to keep buying in and selling lower throughout the entire summer? I suspect that that is the scenario we're seeing, that these people have been trained to discontinue to buy. And what we're going to see is just a slow rolling auction, maybe all the way into September. And I put my positions on for something that's probably going to last 2-3 months. And, do we get back into September? I suspect that as soon as they do raise rates, we're probably going to have one big rip of a day. And maybe it lasts a couple of days. But just like when we go to war, the markets tend to take off as soon as the shooting is started and basically pull back until they do. My thoughts are that until they actually raise rates, the markets are going to continue to be under pressure. But not a really good signs out here, even on the strongest of these tanker stocks. And maybe that says something that Andy at 5 o'clock will address, or maybe on Tom's. But still doesn't look like any of these things are moving. Did talk to Andy earlier in the week about Starbucks and just how light the volume was up here at the highs. He thinks coffee, I think, is not one of the things you can maybe go long. Maybe he'll elucidate it later in his show or on Tom's show. April 24th, $52.09, 22 million shares. Got into it on the first out here with half the volume. Things been kind of moving back down. I suspect this thing's probably in a bigger trading range, back to the $48.57. I just don't see the kind of energy to really drive this stock any higher, and certainly in a market that is pulling back, problematic at best. Some of these stocks look like maybe they had tried to make a bottom in the last few days. And one of the things most people never tell people, especially new to the market, that crashes happen at the bottoms of markets, not generally at the top. And if you want to see a stock crash, it's normally they don't crash off the top. They don't, open up at $100 and go down $30, and then that's the end of it. They normally get fought and distributed for months or years, and then finally they do roll over, and it seems self-apparent at that time. But senior housing properties I thought was very interesting yesterday, in that you needed to get in here with something like less than 2 million shares. We had about 2.1 million shares. And again, a lighter, lower volume today, but even a lower price out here on some of these that you would think may be finding some level of support in these long-term trends. This thing's only come down $3, but this stock is a fairly unvolatile stock. You would think that if people were going to start diving in, they would already. The reason I bring this up is we see even the bigger, well-known stocks like Simon Properties out here, and you needed to see some light volume yesterday. Really got into it yesterday with 1.1 million shares, and you probably should have seen a lot of people piling in to these if they were going to buy the lows. The March 11th low on Simon Properties, 178.84. with 2.5 million shares. Got into it yesterday, like I said, 1.1 million shares. Today, 720,000 shares. So I'm going to be watching these closely and see whether or not they get any kind of traction for higher prices. We've got a lot of other stocks that are breaking out lows. In the case of Silicon Ware, it has SPIL as the symbol on this guy. And, you got 1.4 million shares back at 780 on April 17th. This has broken through those lows today. Not a lot of volume so far, but you would suspect that, these things would bounce right back into the trading range. If they are going to catch some kind of low, you need a close back above 780 with continued light volume to see at least a temporary low in this. Not bad. You may have a 70 cents to the upside on it. Trip Advisors, we've been seeing a lot of these companies rather dubious moves to the upside. This is not one of those. This had the huge sign of strength that you were looking for on the 12th of February with almost 13 million shares. We talked about this, I think, yesterday with 1.8 million shares. It's into it today with 1.1 million shares. I'd still like this thing, if you were bullish, you'd probably want the market to pull back to 1270 on the S&P cash and see if you couldn't pick this thing back up at about 72 bucks, maybe 71 bucks. Get at least half this gap, this huge gap from that 12th of February day back in there. So there are a few stocks that are interesting. Let's go back and see what else is out here in play and take a quick look at the market. See if I have anything else out here. Stocks that are moving, of course, Strength of Macau. We talked about that a little bit earlier. MPEL is reporting strong gaming, and one of the few stocks that's up today. Melcrown Entertainment, MPEL, is the one on this. And certainly you did go below the previous low out here with more volume. That's the $20.40 low of March 16th. You had fairly significant movement down, higher volume. This thing kind of meandered down in that $19 level. It's bouncing back into the trading range, but it does have a sign of strength out here. So maybe we're finding at least maybe more money starting to kind of slosh over into some of those gaming stocks in China. More rumors and rumors of rumors for Dish today. It's up about 5%. T-Mobile and them have talked about something, or rather someone saying they did, and there's a lot of shorts in this stock. And this is not the first, probably the fifth of the rumors out here. But again, on a day like this, sometimes kind of easy to catch shorts snoring. And I think this has got a fairly high short interest rate on it. Ericsson, of course, more discussions in that same sector. And it was upgraded by JP Morgan today. It's just coming back into this monster gap down with monster volume. And the one thing you can say is if you were thinking about shorting an $11 stock, at least you got a nice pop out here with no volume, but right back into the gap. I don't see a great deal of that. AER, if I can actually get in here. AER, what do we got? Oh, going to run out of time in this segment. AER, AeroCap Holdings, we talked about these guys the other day, and this spike, but the close back into the trading range. Down today, price at sale, 88 million shares of AeroCap for proceeds of $3.7 billion. A little bit of distribution out there. We'll be back in a minute.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we come back, it is J.M. Smuckers, the company that's so good that no store is allowed within 50 miles of a big city. SJM out here down on heavy volume today. And again, basically they gave the Q4 results, which missed on EPS and revenues, guided down for fiscal year next year. And they did close their big Heart Pet Brands acquisition. I don't know if that really had anything to do with it or just made their books look horribly bad. But we'll have to look at the next couple of quarters and see how that acquisition actually starts to move. My guess is that it's probably not all that acquisition. It's probably a lot of different things going on in that particular area. MWE is another one out here moving today. Of course, all the energy sector out here lower today with the Crude back certainly in the trading range at $58.02. The last I have looked, now 58.01. We've got, probably at least a test of the lows resetting up in a lot of these energy stocks, I would assume, as we head back down there. Volume is not all that huge today. I will say that. You've got 1 million shares going after 1.1 million shares. So with 1 hour to go, probably figure 1.3. So you're probably going to bust that $59.25 low from March 16th, at least for volume, as you're kind of into that candle and candles around that area today. Probably going to be some temporary support, people out here buying the dips. But these untested lows out here, like $54.04 on Mark Energy West Partners, looks like it's open for investigation and probing. Like an alien, it's going to come down there and probe that low. Other stocks of interest, MR announced receipt of a private proposal to buy out their shares at $30 a share, so it went right to $30. Don't know a lot about that company and probably doesn't matter now. BKE, another stock out here on the move, up 5%, reported same-store sales of up 2.4%, which exceeded consensus estimates, also upgraded at a couple of other dubious Wall Street firms, but certainly up to date. Volume certainly would like to see a lot more. You've got this high volume low down at $40.54 from May 21st, and it may take a while, but those kind of lows probably going to get tested down there. So look for that $40.54 low before you try to go long. My guess is that maybe you've got an ABC setting up in the buckle. These retail stores, some of them have done a little bit better out here. This one probably just looking to get to its retracement from its previous moves. And this almost took it to the 618, which would have been $47.62 of that move from $52 down to $40. So you basically, you got one of the better ones out here, $4.50. So $2.25 makes it pretty easy to see a 50% retracement out here that went through today, $46.27. But see how this thing kind of moves. A little bit better news out there. Doesn't change a long-term trend. And this thing has been at the high on January 12th and done nothing but sell back all the way to that low on May 21st. Normally, these stocks don't come out of their doldrums till the end of the summer. I think this is another one of those tween and teen and tween type places in the malls, and you may want to keep an eye on that. Well, we're out of time today. We've got a market probably going to get uglier before it gets any better. We're at 2097 on the S&P cash, looking down the barrel of those job numbers in the morning, and I am short and loving it. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.